announcements, goals, and giveaway. I want to do my announcements. I want to do my goals first. Actually, I've been slacking on the goals. Right now, we haven't quite crossed 80 subscribers. I would really, really love it if everybody watching could help us get to that 100. So if you've already subscribed, help a friend subscribe. And if only 1 in 4 subscribers do that, we'll be over our 100. The 100 is a big threshold on YouTube. It'll help us get a specific URL, so we can just kind of like tell you the URL rather than just have a random string of numbers. But at the same time, the easiest way to help somebody, they can go to getoffmylawnrecords.com. There's a video right on the homepage. They open the video, and there should be a subscribe right there. But we're trying really hard. The other goal that I have going on is I'm going to change the format of the show a little bit. It's changing.
So we're the last of the dying breed?
Yeah, you might be. Well, at least when I can't. I will continue this format as long as I need to, right? But our broad topic and our previous one, we're going to start. I'm bringing in some really exciting people. On Wednesday, I'm going to have a conversation with Steve Albini, which is going to be really cool. We're going to put that up probably on next week's episode. Mm-hmm. Steve Albini, for anybody who doesn't know, is basically the face of the analog side of the analog-digital debate these days. He's really taken that on as his own personal cause. He produced In Utero with Nirvana and a whole bunch of stuff I'm not even familiar with. But he's one of those guys who still cares about those things that I care about, which is fidelity, analog for archival purposes, a lot of really interesting stuff. So I'm really looking forward to him. And also, I'm going to talk to Mixer Man, Eric Seraphin. Seraphin? I've always known him as Mixer Man. I read this book started as a daily blog. And this was when I was in college. Mm-hmm. God, it's been a while. And this book is fantastic. It's called The Daily Adventures of Mixer Man. It's the story of an engineer who has to work with a major label band in the early aughts, right at the very heyday, right before the whole thing, the whole major label industry collapsed. And just, it's all fictionalized characters, but they all feel very, very, very real. In fact, for years, we're going to talk to him about, how fictional is this book versus how real. Because when we were all reading it, we thought he was literally working on a project and gave everybody nicknames. So, this one's a lot of fun. He wrote 3 books after that I don't have, that I should get and read. But time is limited, resources are limited. Are Zen in the Art of Producing, Zen in the Art of Mixing, and Zen in the Art of Recording. And I think part of the reason I didn't snag those early on was because by the time he wrote those, I had already been doing it for a while. And I'm always leery of those books anymore because I'm just like, I know how to record. But I should read him. He probably has some insight. He's a really funny writer. He's got a lot of personality.
Well, even if it's just like an introduction, if he gives like a different perspective, you could get a lot from that.
Absolutely.
So it's worth looking into.
Yeah. And he just wrote this one called Mixer Man and the Billionaire Apparent. And Billion Hair. H-E-I-R. And it's everything that's wrong with the industry today. It's basically the story of this same guy, Mixer Man, gets a call from an Indian billionaire, and his son wants to become a music mogul. And so they agree to pay Mixer Man to teach his son how to be a record producer. And mayhem ensues.
Well, I mean, there's a lot you can learn, but that's if you're not.
Read the book.
Yeah.
That's the long and short of it. He really covered it exactly, and there's a lot of he talks a lot about how the internet's become gamed. There's a lot of gaming of all of this stuff online.
For sure.
And it's really super interesting, and it just breaks my heart that we're all working out at our house. Like, he's way better than I am, but somehow now we've not like on an output level, but we've all kind of hit the floor together, and now everybody's just kind of scrambling around. So what I did was I said, well, how about we just combine our small audiences, where a lot of people in previous eras, they would go after the big fish. I want to work with the major labels. I get why. They pay a lot better. You know, I've got my friend who does mastering for majors, and they pay exorbitant rates. And it's great because that allows her to work with the independent artists on the cheap. But it's like a star collapsing in on itself. It's really interesting to watch. And here I am on the outskirts. I'm like that little mammal that evolved after the dinosaurs died off. I'm trying.
Well, a lot of people are sick of getting shoveled big label stuff.
Yeah.
So they're going out and looking for small independent artists doing their thing, and then they're using Bandcamp and for YouTubers like Patreon and that kind of thing to make a living off of their small audience.
Right. And
they're finding a niche.
I mean, major labels have the benefit of being a curation service, essentially, but
they've done a really bad job.
In the last 30
curating.
years, their ability to curate has been more and more narrow.
Yep.
And they are not taking any sort of chances with any sort of interesting music. Like, they look for what has already sold, or look for independents who have sold well, and then try to copy that or sign acts that are similar. And they're not looking to innovate at all.
No,
Whereas
they aren't.
In the 70s and 60s, part of the 80s, there was some innovation that they were risking, and they had some failures, but they also had a lot of great and interesting things. But
these are transnational corporations.
yeah, they're
In the 70s and 80s, they were corporations, but they were small. And there were a lot of them.
I mean, it's not a problem of how large they are. It's a matter of them looking at how much they're going to spend and look on return on investment and going, that's not worth the risk anymore.
Yeah.
Because no one buys albums, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but like the amount of record sales has gone significantly down with the advent of iTunes, where people can buy single songs, and
Right.
the advent of like Bandcamp, where you can buy a very independent thing for very cheap or free. And major label sales have very drastically plummeted in the last 20 years. Well, since Napster.
Yeah,
That's true,
Napster
too.
Napster was really just the catalyst, though, right? Like, they
Yeah.
became the fall guy.
Yeah.
But what's really killed it wasn't Napster. It was torrents.
Yeah, I know.
The torrenting is really what's killed it, because in a heartbeat now, I can get every single note a single artist had ever recorded.
Yeah.
So, with Napster, everybody was stealing individual songs.
Yeah.
And that led to the advent of really good albums, right? Because the argument back then was, well, there's only 2 songs I want on the whole thing. Why should I pay $20 for this CD? So I'll just go steal the 2 songs I want, which is still wrong. But when the major label is ripping you off so badly,
Yeah, when they're charging you $19 for a CD that you literally only want one song off of,
right?
because the rest is just filler.
Right. Where if we charge that kind of money for a CD, the packaging will be handmade by people making a living wage. It won't be a cheesy little thing. But so after that happened, they started crying foul. I don't blame them, right? We did see a dip in sales. But what really killed it is when the connection speeds got fast enough where we could not only transfer full albums to each other, but entire catalogs.
Yeah.
And the major label music industry has always been built on the back catalog. I don't know if everybody knows that. The way you used to start a record label back in the day is you'd go buy the rights to a song, like Louie Louie. Right? Louie Louie launched a couple labels, if I remember correctly. You buy the rights to Louie Louie. Every time a movie or television show used Louie Louie, the label would get the money. Every time that copies were sold in compilations, the label would get the money. And they would use that continuing overall sales of this very proven commodity of an ongoing hit to then take that money and fund new artists. And what happened was somewhere back in the day, they stopped taking the money to fund new artists and they started taking the money to pay their shareholders. And now there's almost no advances. And if there is an advance, it's very, very small. It's not enough to live on while you're making the record. So now we've seen this consolidation of not only the major labels, but if you see what the major labels are putting out, we've gone back to producer and singer.
Which isn't such a bad thing.
Unless you like rock and roll.
No, I mean, there's plenty of synth pop that's coming out that's producer and singer,
Yeah.
and it's great.
It's great unless you prefer the sound of, like, I don't know, a big band,
Oh, fair
a
enough.
horn section, a real drummer, you know. I love Marion Hill. Marion Hill's great. I love there's some really cool stuff coming out. But it has actually affected the way we make music. Large ensembles are gone. Polyphonic Spree is like the last of that big, large ensemble. Fleetwood Mac is another good example of it. And as there becomes less and less money to make and less money to split, all of a sudden now we're going to make music as duos and solos rather than these bands. I still want to make music with bands. I like that sound. I like making records that way.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what's going on now. We have our announcements. We've got Josh Peters we talked about last week.
Mm-hmm.
We got those albums coming. He's going to do one of his and then a duo record. The duo record will probably come out first. The Sounds in Between. The Volca album, it's been I've been really busy with the YouTube channel. I haven't made any progress on We Are Living in the Age of Neo-Feudalism, but I'm really, really looking forward to it. Cody, you want to grab one of the Volcas? I have all 6 of these, and they each do something different, and when I show people them, they don't understand. So I'm gonna re-record tape 2 of 4. It's gonna take 4 tapes to make a 60-minute album. I'm gonna re-record tape 2 of 4. I'm gonna videotape myself doing it. I live streamed the first one on tape 1, but it was just really hard. And actually, that was the take that fell apart because it was only 7 minutes.
Yeah.
And there were a couple mistakes.
It was still fun to watch.
Very fun to watch, but I'm gonna actually do it on the cameras. I'm gonna set the cameras up, and I will.
Yeah, that was on your phone, wasn't it?
That was my phone, just
Yeah.
like plopped up somewhere. Or no, I think I had
With
set up a
Facebook,
tripod.
with like Facebook Go Live.
It was Facebook Live is how I did that first
Yeah.
one. But the second one, I'm going to actually do a music video of the 15 minutes of the tape, and we'll put that up. So that'll be very, very cool. Best of Freeform Fridays 2016. I am happy to announce the tracks have been counted.
Awesome.
I'm still deciding on one more. I've got 13, but it may be 14. So I'm still editing the rest of Freeform Fridays 2016. I'm not telling anybody what the final track listing is because then once the last one of the year comes out, then there's no reason to watch the rest, right? So
That's going to be that lost jam.
it should be.
Should be.
Should be. MC Overlord album. We got our contracts done, so let's get that over to him this week.
You've got his email address. So
Yeah, I'll get that over to him. Jesse Thunderwake soundtrack. I just have no news. I gotta dredge out a hard drive. I gotta find an afternoon. But we got the Thanksgiving week. This is the week of Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Have some turkey.
Have
And
some
ham.
turkey. So
Even
I'll
if, yeah,
And
even
throw
if
the
you have
yams in the
some-
trash.
yeah.
Throw away the yams.
Oh, they're foul.
Yams
Then,
are
you,
delicious.
then
They're
you've had
tasty.
them wrong.
No, I just don't like them.
Lots of butter.
They're like blueberries. They're like dirt berries. They're just gross.
Oh, you haven't had them right then.
No.
Leave a
You
comment.
poor
Leave a
thing.
comment, people. Don't.
Yams, disgusting. Sweet potatoes, disgusting. They're just wrong. Morally repugnant.
Oh, you've had
Sweet
bad
potato
sweet
mashed
potatoes.
potatoes.
Oh, I can't. Oh.
They are incredible.
I can imagine. I don't like sweet potato fries, but I can imagine sweet potato mashed potatoes would be pretty good.
That's how I do them.
Yeah. I complain every year. I do prefer regular potatoes, but
You complain about everything, and I give you regular potatoes.
I know. It's a secret to nobody. So George, I was showing George. You're free to use that in your juggling videos.
The album that you're talking
Yeah,
about?
it's called "It's a Secret to Nobody." I made it on my iPad, and it's on Bandcamp for pay what you want.
What apps did you use for that? Or like one or two?
Core Gadget.
What was it?
Core Gadget.
All right.
Core Gadget is phenomenal. It takes a little to get into because it requires a lot of doing and automation, which is
A lot
not
of
exactly
automation.
my forte, but it's very powerful.
Yep.
I'm a set it and forget it kind of person.
Yeah.
Lots of interesting synthesis that does stuff without me having to set automation.
Right. Where I almost take the other way where I'm like, all right, I got 10 notes in. Those 10 notes sound good. Now let's, I like to replicate the sound of like somebody twisting knobs.
Yeah.
That's
But I mean,
that's
like,
what I go for.
on my Electron stuff, I do use the
Yeah.
parameter locking a lot.
Oh, hi, Regal Cat.
She is so regal.
She is so regal. She was having a bad day yesterday.
Yes.
She had to go to the doctor.
Is that why she was face planted?
Yeah. The Jazz Destroyers Live. We have the download cards. They're $5 if you see me. And you can download it for $10 online. Why is it more expensive online? Because I said so. Come find me. Come to a show. And you get a discount. That's the way I look at it. Tapes and CDs are coming. Still coming. And Your Name Here. I still have a few slots.
I'm working on my project.
We're working on your project. And we're just working on it, right?
Yeah.
So if you know of any interesting bands you want me to check out, send it to me, and we'll have a listen and we'll figure it out. So what's next? Our giveaway. We have to do the weekly giveaway. So leave a joke in the comments. Any joke. Best joke, I will send you a download code for the Jazz Destroyers Live. And if you really want, I'll actually stick one of these in an envelope for you and mail it to you. All right, what's next?